Coupled with this transformation was a Saturday morning ritual where I had prepared in my mind that I was going to wake up first every Saturday for the next month. And I was going to be pleasant, and I was going to be civil, and I was going to teach my children how to do their laundry. So the first Saturday they went without television, I was spending time with my children teaching them how to do their laundry. I said, this is now your job. You get to do this from now on. And so I started with my oldest and taught her how to use the machines. Remember, this is a chore. This is not a focus activity. They are learning how to take care of their own clothes, which is something they need to do for the rest of their lives. It's not something mommy does for them. Part of having clothes and wearing clothes is learning how to take care of clothes. That's just part of life. So I wanted to be pleasant and alert with them through this, and I didn't want it to be a disaster. Like, I didn't want it to come back and bite me in the butt. So I was motivated to be a good teacher, so that they could have a good experience with it and they didn't hate it every time they went to do their laundry. I didn't want to traumatize them about their laundry. I wanted them to have a very healthy relationship with the laundry room and the laundry experience. So I mentally prepared myself to wake up every Saturday morning for like a month. And you might be saying, why is it so hard for you to wake up Saturday morning? And my answer is that at the time I had just had my third child. So I was very tired. My youngest child at the time was about 3 to 6 months old, somewhere in there when we went through this laundry learning process. And it was long enough for me to feel swamped by the loads, not long enough for me to recognize how overwhelmed I was by it. But honestly, wouldn't you trade 5 early Saturdays if that meant you could sleep in for an undetermined amount of Saturdays thereafter? Doesn't that sound like a good deal? I mean, 5 early Saturdays dedicated to laundry, and you cut your laundry load back down to pre-child levels. I mean, that sounds magical, doesn't it? But that's all it takes, and if you're a good teacher, it might only take you 3 weeks. Week 1 dawns, and I'm the first one awake that bright and cheerful Saturday morning, even with a 3-month-old child, and still nursing at night, right? And I begin with the oldest, and I show her the ropes. This is how I wash your clothes. And I did all the steps that week to show her how it's done. I am modeling the example of how it is done. This is the washing machine. Let's go eat breakfast. It was actually very simple. It took less than 5 minutes. And then after breakfast, it had been about an hour, so we went down and we switched everything into the dryer. Same deal. This is how we switched it into the dryer. And the difficulty here is I had a top load machine. And children are small, and so they can't always reach into the bottom, but we luckily had a stool chair that they could stand on next to the washing machine and reach in and get all the way to the bottom. And then I taught them to pull their wet clothes out and drop it in their basket, because it's a front, like a top load machine. They have to reach all the way in and pull it out and drop it in their basket. And then they could slide their basket over to the dryer and load up the dryer that way, because that was the only way I could see them doing it without me. So I'm really glad that we had that little step there that they could reach into the bottom with using that. And that also helped them with reaching the buttons, because that was the other half, that they are small enough that they can't reach the buttons. And some of the newer front load machines, that's not an issue, because the buttons are all up front where everyone can get them. But the older model machines are further back, and it's difficult for children to reach, which is probably why most children don't do their laundry. That's just not practical. Once her load was in the dryer, I called my son. And here, God was watching over me, because things happened here that I didn't plan, but I was very grateful for. I called my son, who was 5 at the time, 5-year-old boy, and we went up to his room together. And we gathered up all of his clothes in his basket, and he was sharing a room with his baby brother, the newborn. And since they shared a room, they shared a basket, and I'd been washing all their laundry together. And so I said, okay, let's grab your basket, and there's only one in the room. So we grabbed the basket, and we We carry it down together, and he's a large 5-year-old. He's not a small, so maybe it would be difficult if you had a smaller boy who isn't. I have a big tank of a boy, so he could carry his basket or at least drag it without it knocking him down the stairs. You do have to be careful with that if you've got stairs. So he grabbed his basket, dragged it down the stairs. I showed him how to dump the clothes, dump the soap, and press the buttons. And he loved putting soap in the machine. Apparently that's the coveted part of doing laundry, is pouring the soap in. This sweet 5-year-old child loaded up not only his own clothes, but all of his baby brother's clothes that were mixed into the wash. And he washed their laundry for the next 3 years. This is one of the secret reasons why I love him. Up to that point in my life, no one had ever shown me that level of selfless service before. Sweet, sweet 5-year-old child. This was a large factor in contributing to a grateful motherly favoritism, which I eventually had to fix and start making more demands of his character. As I said, I had a tough time asking any more from him when he had shown me the most selfless service I'd ever experienced in my life. But I eventually had to step up to my other responsibilities as his parent. He proceeded to wash the baby's laundry for the next 3 years without even batting an eye about it. And I allowed him to do it. You know? He wasn't perturbed by the presence of his little brother's clothes, and until it came time to fold the laundry. And then it was like, hey, wait, these are his things. So I was able to step in and said, I will fold the baby's laundry. Just make sure you take care of your own things. Take care of your own laundry. Take care of your own clothes. I will get the rest. Once the baby turned 3, so my youngest is 3 now, fast forward 3 years, I bought him a laundry basket for his 3rd birthday. And you would not believe how giddy this little 3-year-old was with his very own laundry basket. My son, who is the tank of a boy, that was very big. He was at this point 8. They're both growing, and their clothes didn't fit in the same basket together anymore. So it was time. It was time to get the youngest his own basket. He was 3 years old. And he was so giddy and happy. He said, "Oh, Mom, do you mean it? I can be a big boy and do my own laundry?" And I was like, "Yeah, baby, I'll help you." And I did. I helped him. He was 3 years old, and he was pulling my arm, pulling my hand, saying, "Come on, Mom, let's go do my laundry." And I followed him, speechless, with my jaw hanging on to the floor because I couldn't believe my ears or my eyes, but I was very grateful for it. He was very happy to do his own laundry at 3 years old. And at 3 years old, he was still small enough. I helped him drag his laundry down to the basement. So you see, the dragging wasn't an issue until my youngest started dragging his own laundry. He was small enough that his basket might have run him over down the stairs. So I helped him down the stairs. And he loved doing his laundry. He loved pouring the soap in. That's the coveted part of doing laundry. And starting the machines was special. And it meant he was a big boy, and it was a marker to him that he was part of the family, and he loves doing his laundry. Perhaps it's also important to note that I do not have expensive machinery. It's cheap, it's simple, machine wash cold. No bells or whistles to worry about. This 3-year-old boy would take me by the hand and say, "Mama, come help me. I go to do my laundry." And as a mother, how could I refuse? I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And I allowed him to lead me through the process. He led me through doing his laundry because he'd been watching his older siblings do it for the last 3 years. And he was ecstatic to be numbered among the ranks of responsible human beings. I planned and expected this to be an all-day event with laundry. I set timers to remind myself because I was still technically in charge of teaching them how to do their laundry those first few Saturdays. This was a 5-week plan. I started with me doing the laundry with the child watching, followed by the next Saturday, I'm still doing the laundry, only the child's helping, so they are participating in the process. And then the 3rd week, I was planning on the child doing the laundry with my help, and then the 4th week
was the child doing the laundry while I watched, and I was doing my best not to participate. And then the fifth child is the child is doing all the laundry, and I am only there to initiate the beginning of the process. That was the plan.
I did help them fold their clothes as well. That was part of this process. Same process. I showed them, and then they did their best to copy. And you have to relinquish perfection because they are beginners. But it's worth a few wrinkled shirts to have them start learning how to take care of their own clothes. By the third Saturday, they had gone a full 2 weeks without television, and they had been starting to ask, when is it going to be over? And I would say to them, I'll think about it. But when you can treat each other with genuine courtesy while you're watching shows. But by the third Saturday, I was also missing my Saturday morning sleep-in with the newborn baby. And so I told them on the third Saturday, they were doing all the laundry themselves. And after they had pulled their laundry out of the dryer and folded it and put it away, I said, congratulations, you have just earned TV shows for 2 hours. There was a limit. You only get 2 hours. So that was the genius move. They don't get TV for starting their laundry. They get TV for finishing their laundry. That means folded and put away. And that gave them the incentive to go through the entire process.
So for my weekly recap of what actually happened was the first week I modeled the behavior and the child wanted to help. So they were actually involved sooner than I expected. And then the second week, they did everything. And I just reminded them with the parts that they had questions about or the parts that they weren't sure about. And then the third week, they did everything and I just watched. I didn't have to remind them about anything. So by the third week, they had it. And that's why I ultimately made the decision that it was okay after the third week. If they still didn't know how to do their laundry, I would have held off TV for another couple of weeks until they had it.
Weekly TV shows became the reward for finishing your laundry. And they had their self-motivation all packaged and ready to go. What's even better is that after a couple weeks of doing this and the wheels are turning in their heads, they came up to me and they said, Mama, if we washed our laundry on Friday and got it folded and put away, could we wake up Saturday morning and watch shows in the morning? And I said, that's a great idea. Yes, if you do finish your laundry Friday, you can wake up Saturday morning to TV shows for 2 hours. 2 hours. When they get home Friday afternoons, they are racing to the washing machine and they are pumped and ready to get their laundry going. And I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to nag them. I don't have to remind them. Saturday morning, they know they don't get shows until their laundry is finished. So if they forget Friday, they just have to start their laundry and do something else for the morning, and probably run their other chores until their laundry's finished. And that was the genius move. How I got my children to do their own laundry without me becoming a tyrant. I didn't want to be a tyrant. I don't want to have that kind of atmosphere in the home. I still help the youngest fold his laundry. I guess he's 4 now, so it's just a dexterity thing. I fold it, and he insists on putting it away himself because he can put it in the drawer. I said, no, Mom, I put it away. And I said, okay. So I sit on the bed and I fold the laundry, and I don't hate it anymore. Like, laundry used to be a very difficult and unpleasant task for me to do, and now when I'm doing it with them and I'm teaching them how to do it, and I'm folding the baby's laundry still, or he's 4 now, and I don't resent it. I love that he's willing to put his laundry in his dresser. I love it. Voila! We have trained children. We've trained them to wash their own laundry with their own self-motivation. I get to sleep in on Saturday mornings, and they get to have their shows. Win-win. And then that lightened my burdens considerably. So think about what you can do in your home, what you can teach your children to do that would lighten your burdens considerably. And think about what you'd like to do with all that spare time. Because I know for me, I started a YouTube channel.